Hi,
Hey,
Hi.
how are
Wait,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good,
good,
thank
thank
you.
you.
How's your day
Great.
been?
It's been great, honestly. I just finished work and stuff. So, what about you
Nice.
guys?
We
We haven't one woken up, so we haven't done too much yet.
Okay.
yeah, we got up, went and ran and got our coffees, and then we were like, oh yeah, it's time to jump on.
That's crazy. It's always odd for me, especially I lived abroad in different countries throughout my life, like all of my life, and it's always so weird to me to like call a friend from another country. I have friends all over the world. I'm like just
Yeah.
talking to them and being like, when you have like a mental breakdown, you just want to call a friend and you call your friend and you're like waking up, it's like 5 in the morning, you're like
You
going
gotta
for a
like
run.
check the time zone, see who's awake. That's so
Yeah.
cool though. That's so cool. It must be so amazing having literally friends all over the globe.
Yeah, it's really exciting, honestly. It's it changes your perspective a lot, I feel like.
hmm So,
Yeah.
what countries have you lived in?
Argentina. I lived in the US in two different times. First in Las Vegas when I was 15, then on San Diego when I went to college. Then I lived in Spain, in Madrid, London, and Oxford. I did a summer in Oxford University stuff. And is that all? Peru for a little bit, but it was very short.
Wow.
Been a bit,
Yeah.
been a bit of everywhere.
Yeah. It's
How
fun.
much?
It's nice.
How much? What's the right word? I guess like experience, like culturally. Do you think? I think because as you said, you kind of gone to like really different all regions, like England and America, and then parts
Mhm.
of Europe. What's I guess been your favorite? I guess country to live in, I guess is a better way to put it.
My favorite country to live in was probably England. I loved it there. I love England a lot, especially like the countryside. When I stayed in Oxford, I think the calmness and just the people there. So I feel like the British have this. How do you say it? People when they think of British, they don't think people there are very like warm and kind. Like they're kind, but like not very warm people. But from my experience, at least in the countryside, people were very kind, very gentle, very welcoming. You will be walking around and you meet someone at a store and they'll be like, "Oh, you want to come over for tea?" and and it's just so very like I don't know. It's very sweet. They're very sweet people, and I really enjoyed there. It's like you don't even feel like a foreigner. You feel like
But
at home actually.
That's so nice
yeah,
because even like in Australia, I feel like our depiction of what people are like in like England, it's not like super kind or super warm.
yeah, it's
So that's
because
really
we
funny.
I guess we associate a lot with like the city, and the city itself, everyone's kind of go, keep to themselves, and I guess that somewhat betrayal of like being somewhat rude. But I've heard what you said about like the countryside, and like because you always, it's very normal to kind of, if you are friends with someone, even in the city, and you bump into someone like, oh, you want to come over for some food or come over for some dinner. So it's really nice. I guess you got to kind of experience that in the countryside. I think countryside England would be really
Yeah,
nice.
I've seen like YouTube videos on like people living in the Cotswolds and stuff like that, and it literally
Mhm.
looks like a movie. It's so pretty.
It is. It's beautiful, and like the old, especially like Brazil doesn't have that much of like older buildings because we are fairly new countries, kind of like the U.S. and Australia in a way. But I feel like us even more because it took us a long time to like start building our own stuff. So like the buildings here are also new. It's all modern and like it's not that it doesn't have that feeling of like older stuff. Families that lived in the same house for ages. It feels so historical, and I think it's gorgeous. I
Yeah,
love it.
I love that. It's like the same. I like definitely crave that in Australia. You don't, we don't really have that at all.
But that's what's good about Melbourne, I guess. Melbourne's like
Yeah,
the closest thing that kind of has, they've kind of kept their architecture and kind of built around it. So there is a lot of older buildings. Because isn't that what that massive church is in like Flint
yeah.
Street?
Compared to all the other cities, Melbourne's definitely the best. But it's like I cannot wait to go to Europe and go
Yeah.
everywhere and find all the architectural buildings. I just love that.
I think there's nothing quite like it. They're definitely like built different, I guess. I guess they tried to mirror it when they came here to Australia, but like it just doesn't work the same.
Mhm.
It's the history, it's
Yeah.
the history with the architecture, I think, that makes it so special.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So, well, firstly, thank you for joining us and thank you for coming on. We're very excited to get to know you more and have the audience get to know you more. So, just want to say thank you
for the invitation.
It's okay.
And just kind of, I guess, to go off more of what you were kind of just talking about, we'd love to hear your journey, I guess, from throughout your life and what kind of led you to what you're doing now, who you are now, and who's sitting with us, and just kind of take us through everything and what kind of got you towards, like, I guess, content creation and any of your passions.
Was like content always like the goal, or did you just stumble across it?
So I never had any desire to be a content creator. My dad was actually someone who really tried to push it on me. So being a Brazilian who moves abroad and like spends a long time, especially for college in particular, when I went to college, is not something that is very common. So it's not something that everybody's doing. Like, for example, people in Europe that are moving around, or like even in Australia, people go abroad all the time. But in Brazil, it's not that common. So when I made a decision to go, I got accepted. My dad was very pushy. Like, you need to start creating content about it. People are going to be interested. Nobody does it. Like, it's something so different. And I actually pushed that idea away because I never pictured myself as a content creator. I was like, this is not a career path for me. I don't identify with it. I don't think it would ever work, because I spent my whole life wanting to be two things: a writer and a historian. I wanted to be in my room with a computer writing, publishing books. I didn't even want to have my name on them. Like, didn't want to do like press conferences. I never had that wish. I just wanted people to hear and like not hear, but read my words and like have books out there and work on my own. That's what I wanted to do. So when I went to college, I went with the specific desire of being a researcher who wrote books on sociology. That's what I wanted. Then I got there and I absolutely despised everything about it. I hated teaching. I hated writing papers. I hated all of it. I was awful. And I spent like 10 years of my life working towards that dream. So we know when you stop for a moment and you know exactly what you're doing and you've planned your whole life and done all the work and excel in everything, and you're right there at the door. And like, I had teachers inviting me to help them teach some classes. I had papers that were getting published. I was in this really great place. And I hated it. I was like, okay, if I'm in the best place possible that I could be at this point, and I hate it, it's because I'm always going to hate it. Like, there's no running out from this. So I took my plan of writing papers and decided, okay, what can I do that is related to what I like, which is writing? And I went to journalism and media studies. And I came back to Brazil, started doing media studies, started getting into the area. And in Brazil, I also I really like fashion. And Brazil has this one huge magazine that is called Still the Look. And they had an opening for a job on an internship in writing for journalism. Got into the meeting with them, applied for the job, got accepted, and they called me again and they were like, okay, so we have this one other position that we think that you would be a really good fit for. And I was like, what is the position? They were like, content creator. And I really wanted to work with this magazine. I was like, you know what? I might as well try another shot. If anything, like, I'll just transfer areas afterwards when I'm already in the magazine. So I applied, and to the application process, we had to create content. It was this really big, they had like carousels, a couple videos and stuff. And I did that with so much joy. I enjoyed that process so much. I loved it. And I submitted, and I was like, Dad, like, I don't even want to get a journalism job anymore. Like, I want this one job. And then they called me and they said they went with another person. And then my dad said that one minute, he was like, you know what? You like creating content. You like the job. So why don't you start just creating it? You know, create it for LinkedIn, create it for Instagram. Try to find something that you want to create about. If you enjoyed the process of creating, then just keep going. And that was about 2 to 3 years ago. And I started try to find what I wanted. I started looking into different areas. I found UGC, started doing UGC on the side, which I still do a little bit of, but it's not my main focus at the moment. I started creating carousels for different brands. I started reaching out to people that I knew who had small businesses and being like, hey, you need someone to create content for you. And I started getting these gigs here and there until it actually became a career. So now I'm a social media manager on the most part and a content creator as well.
I love that.
It's a really good story. That's the first, I think, one of the first times I've heard someone say one of their parents push content creation. That's so interesting. I feel like you never hear that, because usually, like, a lot of people's parents are like, I don't even know what that is. Yeah. That's super, super fascinating.
I kind of wanted to ask a bit more about that. Like, you know, where do you think his kind of I guess, push for you to kind of do that? Because I guess at the end of the day, he was right. He was like, you should do this. It's going to like work out. Where do you think that came from? Like, is that maybe related to like work that he does, or do you think he just could see you just being a really creative person?
So my dad, first off, my dad is an inventor, and he's a scientist, and he works in innovation in different businesses. So basically anything that is like new online, anything that is new going on, he's always on top of things. And he could tell even like a few years back that like social media was already, and it's every day that passed, he knew that was going to become an even bigger thing, and that everybody would need to know how to work with social media. And that's something that I feel like comes a lot from his job and stuff. Right now, he's really big on working with LinkedIn. He does a lot of work there.
Yeah, that's really, really big in the business world.
Yeah, he's a business consultant now after he had his company for a few years as well. So like he needs to be there at all times. And I feel like it's also because I've always been a really good public speaker. I've always done a lot of things from TED Talks to other stuff like that. And he was like, if you're comfortable enough to go on a stage, face a lot of people and talk, you can pick up a camera and talk in front of it. Like, it's not going to be that big of a deal. So he thought that this could be an interesting thing for me to be doing because of that skill that I have, that I've always enjoyed doing. And also, I think because he thought it was a cool idea, like you're going to be outside, something different. People will want to see that. People will want to watch it.
No, I think I love that so much. I think that's really cool because it, in some way, like, something that, you see or you hear a lot about is when someone kind of starts content creation, maybe people around them aren't doing it. And sometimes, it can feel a bit lonely. So it's like really, I guess, nice to hear, but also would have been so encouraging for you to, it wasn't even a friend. It was like a family member who believed in you and like was kind of supporting you to go, hey, you can do this. You can succeed. This is a great opportunity. You should try and look into it. Such a cool story. Such a cool story.
I'm so happy that you liked it. Yeah. My dad's very, very supportive of everything, which is a blessing. I know this is a journey that, like you said, a lot of people face alone. It's hard to start. There's a lot of judgmental people out there. I'm very lucky to not be surrounded by that much judgment in that sense. So
just to tie in with what we were saying, you're talking about going to living abroad. What point did you start, I guess, the content creation, and had you already been abroad, or had you started it and then a few of the countries that you had gone to? Like, how did that kind of all tie in together?
I moved abroad for the first time when I was 14 alone. And I had already actually just came back home for the first time. It was during the first time that I actually stayed a while home, because every year I would move abroad to a different country. And I feel like also a part of me starting was because I'm used to being on the move. Mm-hmm. And for the first time in my life, I was staying still. Like, I came home and I wanted to do something a little bit different. I enjoy having like a full schedule, like doing a lot of stuff. So I feel like it was kind of a way for me to be doing something as well when I'm home. Now I've been here for 4 years now that I've been home. Yeah.
What was the decision to, you don't very often hear, I guess, like people moving abroad so young. What was the decision for that?
From the first country, honestly, when I think about it, I don't even know at what point I decided I'm going to start doing it. My school offered some programs in which we could choose to live in other countries to study a language. I went to international school, so we could go to other places. They have a few options available, and they had this. All of them, not all of them, most of them were through my school. So I feel like an exchange program for a little bit, and you go on your own and you move there and you learn the language. First Spanish, then I went for English, and then on my first year of high school, and in Brazil is 3 years, so it's the last 3 years of high school, not the fourth one. So my first year of college, that's when of high school, I went to Oxford. That's when I got accepted. I always loved England, and I always wanted to do a program in writing, and I always wanted to be a writer. So I figured, okay, what is a great university in a place that I enjoy, that has a good writing program, and it's Oxford University. So I applied, and I went to their summer program for high school students. Then again, Spain for Spanish one more time, and then the US.
That's really cool. I wish we had more opportunities here. I think that's something that's But I guess with how much it costs to kind of like fly and get anywhere from Australia, it's like definitely probably one of the hardest things. But
and I think
it'd be so nice to have,
because of, I don't know how it works, but because of how big Australia is and how many schools there are, a lot of like schools where I grew up, I was more in like a rural area. That was just like not an option. There was like, my school had no overseas trips or anything or exchanges at all.
But I feel like in most countries, in Brazil, it is the same. I was very like, because my parents, they were always the kind of people who prioritize like experience. Like they prioritize school knowledge a lot, but they always prioritize experience over physical stuff and material things. They're like, they are the parents who they would pay me to go study abroad, but they wouldn't buy a house or like an expensive car. Like they're like, okay, let's travel. Let's not spend money on clothes. Like my dad never buys me clothes. He never buys me like a phone, never buys me stuff like that. But if I turn to him like, hey, I want to do this one course that is like 5 times what a phone costs. He'd be like, okay, but not the phone. Like not the new phone.
That's so good though. That's like, to me, that's really good parenting.
That's like the dream. I think that's how we'd like to parent our kids. Like I think that's like so important, because I think the earlier on you learn the importance of experiences, or just have the opportunity for growth. I think so many children these days are like stuck in situations where they're just getting given way too much materialism, and then they're not actually learning and growing in different environments, which is like the most, cultivating experience. And that sounds like what you've had. And it's like, like we're saying, like we're blown away. It's amazing. So happy that you've got to like experience something so fun, so young.
Yeah. And I guess also like the cool thing about content creation is obviously you're passionate about being a writer. Is content creation can kind of take you anywhere, and you get to choose where you're going. Oh yeah. So you can always incorporate like your passion for writing into that.
That reminds me of a question I was going to say was, do you still have a passion for like writing? Like, have you ever thought about like you were saying, you can intertwine the writing with content creation, but I think it's something cool. It's like I've said it before to someone else, but I really liked it because I've always thought about writing a book. And it's a business person said he believes every single person or entrepreneur should write some form of and publish a book. So is that something that you kind of maybe have plans for, or you've kind of put it to the side now with what you're doing?
Honestly, I still write a lot. It's part of my soul. I feel like I'm the kind of person that if I ever stop writing, it's like if I stop reading. Even if it's just for myself. I'm a songwriter as well. So like what I do mostly in terms of writing on my daily basis are music for myself, honestly, and like to play at home. Or I recently published my second published book, which is called The Prophecy, which is my first novel, like an actual romance. My first one is called Read This Book If You're Not a Feminist, and it is a sociological analysis for people who want to enter the feminist movement and learn a little bit about what it is, because a lot of people say that they are not a feminist, but a lot of their ideals actually align a lot of feminism. So I decided to write a book for people who like, oh, like I'm not a feminist, like who don't like the word, but it's simple. It explains why a lot of our common beliefs are actually related to feminism. So yeah, and I still write it. So
that's super cool. Where
can we get them? I wanna read the books.
They are both available on Amazon, actually.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay. Like, do we search your name, or do we search the name of the books?
You can search my name. You can find it under Victoria Christian. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna check this out. That is so cool. Have people brought your books? This
last one I just published last week. So
yeah.
And I didn't do any. Honestly, I don't, like I said, I never had any plannings of like with my books that I write like for myself to like do any publishing on it, like not publishing, like marketing and like strategies and like putting it out there in the big way. So nobody bought it. The first one, quite a few people bought it. Not sure in how many, I haven't even checked, but it's mostly like, I don't know. I feel like it's something that I enjoy doing, and I put it out there just, if it works out, who knows?
Yeah. That's the most important. That's the most important thing, is that as long as you're enjoying doing it and you have your work out there. I just be really cool to see like you've published a book and you've seen it. At least even one person has bought it. I think that's like really, really cool.
Yeah, that's because you hear like I think you hear a lot of the time people want to publish a book, but then they're too afraid to. Yeah. So that's amazing that you've actually published them.
I think one more question I want to ask. which I think I find really interesting. I'm interested to kind of know more about where this has come from. So you've kind of said how when you were writing and you don't really feel the need to I guess put yourself out there, like you always had the idea of just writing heaps of books and, you know, not having your name visible. You don't really care about all the publishing and all things like that. Where do you think that has kind of stemmed from? Because like I feel like it would be such a cool thing. Like that's the thing. If we hadn't had this conversation, I had this chat with you, we would have had no idea you published 2 books. Like unless I've missed it, I feel like you haven't really said anything on your social media. So I feel like, you know, you in some way, I think it's cool that you're doing it for yourself, but I feel like, you know, you may be missing some opportunities, I guess. So I'm intrigued to know where that thought process has kind of stemmed from.
I've done a lot of artistic things in my life, like painting and singing, and I turned a lot of those things into profit through growing up. Like I sang professionally and I'm gonna pay for it, and selling paintings and stuff like that and drawings. And what I noticed is that with those things, the joy of the art and the craft got ruined throughout the years, especially because I started really young, like making it like a career out of those things. The more I did it, even if like in the first 1, 2, 3 years, it didn't feel like that burden and it didn't ruin the joy of doing the art. As it passed, it completely destroyed a lot of things for me that were very passionate, that I was very passionate about. And writing was one of those things that I kept to myself. And I feel like if I turn that into something that is my career, like actually my career, not like I said, if it's something that happens at random and people start buying my book and they start enjoying it and recommend it to people, and I can just sit around my room and be like, okay, whatever, people are buying, but I don't care. Like they buy because they want to, not because I'm putting in an effort and creating like this, how can I say this? Like, these goals for myself that I need to sell and that I need to make so much money for this book, for this in this time period. It will get so overwhelming and tiring, and I feel like it will stop me from writing things that are honest for me. And it also scares me a little bit because once you start, like it or not, we live a little bit by validation. And when you turn something into a career, you want it to be successful, and you start slowly but surely drifting to a place where you're doing more of what people would want to see. So if you do something and people really like that one thing that you did, you want to do something similar, even though you're not feeling it like it. And with artists, you will produce what you feel like it. That's art. What you want to produce at that time. And sometimes what you produce now will look nothing like all the other things that you produced. Maybe that one thing that you create has nothing to do with all the other things that you created. And like when you mix those things together, there's no doing that. If you become a romance novelist, you're a romance novelist.
Yeah.
And those are the things you're going to be writing. If you're a horror novelist, that's going to, like, if Stephen King wakes up tomorrow and be like, I'm going to write a romance book about a girl who falls in love with this guy in a coffee shop, everybody's going to be like, what the, like, no, you're not buying that. Like, that's not what you're doing. His publisher is going to be looking at him like, put that down.
Yeah.
Like, get away.
That's funny. It's very true because you see that with a lot of musicians these days. Like they drop one, especially if they drop like their first album and it's like received really well. If they, whatever way they move with their next few albums, if it is slightly different from the first one, they're immediately kind of like hated on. Like, what is this? Where we missed the old version of you? And it's like, and sometimes it takes like, you know, I know one of my favorite artists. Every time he drops an album, he like. They always sound, he makes a point to always make them sound super different. And it's very funny. So every time he drops, he gets hated on, but then 3 years later, the album that he dropped that he got hated on, everyone's like, this is so good. This was actually ahead of its time. Like, how did he do this? And then he drops a new one. And then it's like, oh my God, but we only just caught up with your last album. This new one sounds terrible. And it's like this really funny pattern. And I think that's an example of someone like, I guess, not caring. But I think a lot of people get trapped in that thing of then they feel so much pressure of having to try to create for the fans or create for the pressure of, you know, who you're delivering to. And then, you can, I guess, lose that internal passion that started you to begin with.
Yeah, because I think like when you're like what you just said literally summarized being an artist. It's like when you're an artist, your creative endeavors are like extensions of you. And just because we live in such a consumerist world, people want to consume other people's art. They want to buy people's things. And I think that's kind of where that comes from. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's literally your creative expression. At most, maybe it's observed. It's like in a museum or an art gallery. You know, you can look at a painting, and whatever it does for you, it does for you. But then it stays there. It's the artist's work. You're not like buying it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's very, very interesting because it's true. It's like as soon as it's like it gets turned into from your creative like avenue to a product. And to me, that art's not a product. It's literally like, yeah, it's like it's an extension of the artist, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I it's interesting. Like, you've really brought up, like, I guess, how would you word it? Like, a dilemma. Like, it's literally like, it's such a, I think we could talk about it for ages. It's so fascinating because it's almost like, you know, if you could, I think it's impossible psychologically. Like, you want to be able to create art, whether it's music, whether it's books, whatever it may be, paintings. And like, you know, I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to be able to share that and allow people to take that in. But it's you as the moment you do that, you then literally engaging in the psychological effects of, I guess, validation, and let alone then you're giving people an opinion now where, like, if you like you said, you don't have your name associated with it. It's like, maybe if you could, like, I guess the only way you could do it is, but then you can't, because then you're going to read the opinions. So if you were to drop things what's the word?
Anonymously.
Yeah, anonymously. People are going to like have their opinions. They're going to see it. They don't know who you are, but then they're still going to go, oh, well, we like this one compared to this one. Or then you're going to read the reviews, and then you're already being affected. So it's such a fascinating concept of how do you, because you know what's really interesting about that? It makes you think about how many people out there probably have some of the most amazing art, some of the most amazing songs, some of the most amazing books, but they've never seen the light of day because they don't want that creativity to kind of
but also because often perish. Like you make it for yourself.
Yeah.
Not actually necessarily for other people. And then by like putting it out there to, like, you know, whether you want to sell it to create a living, you're like kind of flipping the switch on why you started it in the first place.
And especially because, like, the biggest thing about creativity is that it's not this ongoing thing. You know, sometimes you can be a creative person, but, like, for example, I enjoy writing from a place of like a little bit of heartbreak. I'm more of like a melancholic type of writer. But if I'm starting a new relationship and I'm really excited, like, there's not going to be any drama there. And it's not, the words are not going to be pouring, you know?
Yeah.
And if you have to sell your work, you don't have that choice. You cannot just, oh, I'm not in a creative mood and I'm going to write anything. No, you have to write it either way because you have like a deadline to deliver a book or to like deliver an album. So that also gets a little bit harder because then not even you have to create things that other people need to want to listen to or read or whatever, but you also have to create things at all times.
Yeah. And that's like exactly right, especially because it's so personal. It's like your creativity is moving with you and in your like cycle of life. And it's not something that's like, okay, time to be mass produced. You've got to be putting something out each month like that. It would ruin it. It would literally ruin it. It takes away your freedom and your joy and how if you're naturally expressing yourself. Yeah.
Which is interesting because then we can kind of tie it into content creation. And like you can start content creation the right way. But then the moment you try to, I guess, which is most people's goals, to kind of hopefully turn it into like a source of income, you then create those validations and those that you can get lost within that creative process of why you started, or you can just lose your creativity in general, because then you kind of now not even making for yourself, you're making for an algorithm, you're making for the people that are interacting with you, and that can be so challenging. So that kind of actually goes into a question that we had to ask you, which was, what is something that maybe you cringed at in your earlier content days, but you kind of love it now?
Something that I've cringed at was probably the whole putting up the camera, the process of like starting it, like starting the recording. Like before when I started, every time now, like if I felt ridiculous, like what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like looking at literally this little thing, my phone, and just talking and thinking to myself, like, nobody's gonna watch this. Like, why am I even bothering saying those words when literally nobody's gonna watch? And today, honestly, I don't care. Like, I'm at a point in my creative journey, like, if literally if zero people watch the video, like, I don't care. Like, if someone sends my video out, like, congratulations. Like, if like someone, let's say someone that I used to go to high school with sends out the video to their friend and be like, oh, she's creating content. I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, do you want a cookie? Like, thank you for the observation. It is on the internet, in case you don't know. It's kind of out in the open from everybody. So, and like right now, I generally stopped caring. Before, I would have that cringe feeling, like, that would even stop me from like actually saying the words. Like, I would have the script in front of me and I would get so like icky with myself that like I would stumble on the words and I couldn't actually pronounce it and it would sound weird. Right now, I just at that point of like not caring if anyone sees it, the whole world sees it, if nobody sees it, that I can just make it and be fine with it.
I think that's the goal. That's honestly like the goal. I think that's kind of like a little bit of the process that we're trying to like move toward to now. And I think that's kind of, I guess, it's funny, you get so lost because of what you see online, see other creators that you don't realize maybe they're going through the similar process or not. And I think that's like obviously maybe, yeah, the end goal, being able to go, it doesn't matter if 0 people watch it. It doesn't matter if, 20 people that I don't like send the video when they're all talking about it in a group chat. It's kind of like, I enjoy making this video, and because I enjoyed making this video, I now have a platform that I can put it on, and that's that.
Yeah, and I think also like for me, the transitioning from being like, oh my god, I can't believe like I'm posting videos of myself online that may exist now forever, is like going, you start to appreciate the effort and the time and the work that goes into it and maintaining it. That if someone, it doesn't even matter if someone's making fun of you, because it's like you're not even in the same realm right now. I'm like working and you're like making fun of something that like is contributing to my future, whereas you sending it to someone, you saying whatever, it's not getting you any further in life.
Yeah,
it's just sending you actually backwards.
And honestly, that's for me the biggest motivator that I have for myself when I think about it. Like, it's so, when you actually stop to think about it, it's so ridiculous. Like, someone, like, you're here doing a work, posting videos, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's good or not. It doesn't matter if it's professional, whoever it is. A content creator is like right there, starting their journey, doing videos. It doesn't matter the quality, the nothing, the numbers. But you're literally at home. You have no numbers. You have nothing going on for you. And like, you're saying, why are you sending that out? It's so ridiculous. Like, well, obviously they are beginning. Like, maybe it's not great, but like they're starting. It's going to get better. Everybody starts somewhere. Like, you wouldn't make fun of someone who's starting to learn, for example, the piano. And like, they don't know how to play it perfectly. Like, obviously Sherlock, they just started. They're not going to be playing Mozart. Like, what even is the point? And it's kind of pathetic. It's like saying, I don't know. I think it's just so sad to think that there are people who are home and they're like, oh my god, girl base. Like, go to life, touch some grass. Like, honestly, touch some grass.
It's so true. It's so true. I've always thought that it's like it always just like stem from someone being jealous. Like, they wish, because that's the thing. It's funny. It's like I live in a day and age where I think if like everyone could make content and make money from it, they would do it, because like, because then there's that misconception. People don't realize actually how much work it is. So I think seeing someone else do it, that maybe, they're like, oh my gosh, why can they do it? Why can't I do it? What's going on? It's like so much easier to hate and be like, oh, they're so lame because they're making content, or look how bad their video is. But it's like, you're just jealous because you can't even pull out a camera and talk to it. You can't even post a video that is cringy because, all your friends would make fun of you, but you're the person who's making fun of someone else. So like, you're part of the problem.
But it's like so fascinating because like I'm like studying psychology at the moment, and it's like after learning about how like the way you see everything, it actually is a way of learning something about you. It's like people who are making fun of someone for doing content, it's literally because they can't deal with their own negative feelings about maybe because they don't have the confidence to do it, or whatever reason, that the easiest thing to do is to project it onto somebody else, and that's all that's happening. And it's never even about you. It's all about them. And if they're saying something bad about you, they're probably saying something worse about themselves.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Your worst enemy is like, how do you word it? Your worst enemy is your perspective of, it's like the perspective that you have of the perspective of what you think someone else's is. So you're living a false reality because you're assuming that person's perspective of you, and you're just assuming what it is. So then you're creating a false perspective. That's such a tongue twister, but it does make sense.
No, I know what you mean. And like, honestly, in the end of the day, we don't even know if people are actually doing it. Like, we don't know if they are sending out, maybe the people who are sending out on the group chat, and that's a thought that actually helped me in the beginning. Maybe the people who are sharing that content who were with you in high school aren't even talking like shit. Maybe they're literally just saying like, oh, look at how cool her content is getting. Like, that's so nice for her. Like, you don't know the perspective that you're having on you. So like, we are creating this narrative as like, I don't even know if a single person that I know sent out my content and said anything negative. Like, I have no idea. Maybe they have. They probably did. But I have no idea. So like, it's not something that will affect us directly. And us, like, or any other creator who watches this and like is thinking about their creative journey, like, it's not something that is even worth discussing in your own head, because it's never going to be something that will directly affect you.
Yeah,
I can assure anyone who is like talking about it behind your back, they're not going to have it. They don't even have the balls to come up to your face and like make fun of you for it. So like, who cares if they're talking behind your back? Let them talk. Like, it's not going to affect you directly ever. So let them.
So
and in the meantime, we can all assume that it's people showing love to our content.
That's the best way. Optimism. Always live your life with a glass full, not half empty, or whatever the saying is. So important. What are 3 daily non-negotiables that maybe, you know, whether they help you within your writing, help you within your creativity, help you filming content? What are 3 things that kind of you go in every day and you make sure you do, and that kind of sets your day correct?
I live by the 1 body, 1 mind, and 1 spiritual concept. For me, spiritual, I am not religious or anything like that, but for me, spirituality has to do with my relationship with myself and taking care of my own energy, and that can be like managing with myself in my personal relationship with me, but also like the energy that I bring to the room, if I'm being like a positive person, if I'm being someone that is reliable for my family and friends. So I try to start my day with 3 things that are related to those areas. For body, I always do like a workout class at home every single day religiously. Like, I do Pilates, take care of my body. That's a must. I always read at least 10 pages of a book that is like mindful, but like not mindful, something that is informative. So I can read something that's like a self-help book kind of vibe. I can also read sociology, psychology, something that is like a topic that, like, for example, history or mythology. Those are topics that I'm interested in knowing more about. Basically something that will get my mind actually working, not just like a romance, but like something actually scientific as it gets. And then journaling for my spirituality. I feel like working on journaling about, and I like to journal openly. So like, I don't do those prompts. They're like journal books. I actually get a notebook and write a page about whatever it is. So I write about like my relationships with the people in my life, about my relationship with myself, my past, the feelings that I'm having. Like, if I'm, for example, if I'm having a week that I'm feeling extra anxious, I will spend the whole week writing, okay, why am I feeling anxious? What is when I get anxious, what are the things that calm me down? Why are these things the things that calm me down? And like, I start writing about things that will actually benefit me, not only because like, oh, I'm doing self-care or whatever, but because like I'm actually getting to do some internal work and to actually look at myself and see myself in a better lighting and understand myself better. So yeah, those are my 3 non-negotiables. And honestly, really fast, it takes like an hour of my day. So it's not that bad.
Yes, that was something that I was just about to ask. I was going to say, do you try and do them all together at once, or do you ever have days where maybe you have to split them up throughout the day? And how does that kind of, I guess, affect maybe your progress throughout the day?
Oh, I am a 4 a.m. girly, so I wake up at 4 a.m. every day. And I usually start them right in the morning. I try to do them first thing as often as possible. after like I drink a coffee and then just go straight to like, as I'm a smoker. So I like to like smoke a cigarette, drink my coffee, and read the book. Then I'll grab the notebook. Like, and I don't even touch my phone at that time. Like, I always make sure that I'm not looking at my phone before I get all those things done. So just me, a cigarette, my coffee, my book. Then I grab my notebook. I do my writing. Then I go do my Pilates. And when I'm done, like I take a shower and then I grab my phone. So like have literally the start of my day, I have like this little ritual so I can really get myself like in the best mood possible. So I usually start my day like at 30-ish.
I like respect that so much. Like I can just envision it. Like I'm trying to put myself in doing that, and I can literally see how, you know, combining all those little routines, you are like you somewhat like reconnecting with yourself on like all three levels. And even like, you know, everyone has a different opinion about smoking, but even I guess like what that can sometimes do for you as like a stress relief or whatever reason, in the combination with the coffee and sitting within yourself, and then in taking in mental words of affirmations or whatever through the book, really kind of align yourself, then it in some way motivates you to do that physical work, then into that gratitude through the journaling.
It's like your grounding routine. And it's like it's something I have to get better at, because of when we like work our normal job, we have to wake up and be at work at like 5
or 4
and
or 3.
my if I go to bed and I know I'm going to bed too late, it's like the most important thing is I get enough sleep, even if that ends up meaning I wake up, I have like 15 minutes to get ready and go. But I think as I'm getting older, I'm seeing that what I'm craving even more than sleep is that little time in the morning before your day. Because I feel like if you don't have that, it kind of feels like you're losing the day to like the tasks you have, rather than feeling like you're in control, because it's a physical and it's like a mental reset, and you can sit with yourself, see how you're feeling. And I just think it's super important, like morning and night routines, depending on like the type of person you are. Maybe you need both, maybe one more than the other. I think they're like the most integral parts of the day. It's how you start and how you finish. And sometimes what happened in between, sometimes we don't have control over, sometimes we have a bad day. But if we can try to start it a way that works for us and end it a way that works for us, I feel like that's what sets you up.
It's funny, you've made me like realize that something that's really super important is, I think we've somehow gotten into this era of like, you know, the perfect morning routine, or, you know, the perfect night routine, or you want to be a successful business person, you want to do this, you got to, you know, get up at like 3 a.m., ice bath this, journal that, you know, do all that. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. But I think what you've helped me realize is the message that should be pushed across is find, even if it's like what you said for you, it's like an hour, whether it's an hour, whether it's 30 minutes, whether it's like 5 minutes on each task, whatever it may be. But what you want to do is create a routine that keeps you grounded, which is making you kind of feel connected with yourself, in tune. I think people kind of take it, well, we've lost due to, you know, whatever is being pushed on social media, but it's like, this is the successful hack routine. But it's more about, what's that grounding routine that you can feel confident in yourself. Personal. And that's why it can be 30 minutes. It can be 1 hour. It doesn't have to be from like 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. and you've done like 20 different things and now you can start your day, because it's like unrealistic. And I think that's really cool.
Like for me, for me, like honestly, the most important part is, okay, so I was the person who I would rush out of bed and then get into work. And then you start doing that. And honestly, like you're like on autopilot. And when you look at things, you're anxious, you're tired, you're not doing your work properly, because when you just get up and you rush into things and you don't do anything to like kind of take a moment, things get lost in a way. Like you'll forget something at home before you get to your job, you know, because you're literally rushing yourself. When you take, like, it's like you said, it's 10 minutes, it's an hour, it's 30 minutes, it's 2 hours, whatever works for you. But if you take that time to like, okay, I'm alive, my head is in the right place, I'm in the right, like, I'm okay to start, just to give yourself that time doing whatever it is that works for you, to just give yourself time to start, everything works so much better. Because if you're rushing into things, if you're just jumping out of bed and you're like on that, you're not going to be working properly. Like for me, I think that's why I started it. And that's the biggest difference. Not even like the books I've read or like my body, how my body has changed from working out every day. It's mostly like that feeling of like, now my days are smoother simply because I give myself time to breathe.
Oh, because something that like, that's so true, because that's something that I was saying to you a couple of days ago. I've worked out recently that on our days off, because like Thursday through to Monday, we've been getting up at like 2 a.m. in the morning to go to work, or even sometimes 4 a.m. And because we kind of get up, get dressed, and then go, on our days off, I'm waking up and I'm feeling a bit like lost, I guess. It's interesting. I'm feeling kind of, because obviously, you know, we're doing so many things and, you know, doing the social media and all that, I'm not getting that initial wake up, and like you said, that anxiousness and that you know, adrenaline rush that's like kickstarting me going, oh my gosh, I got to go to work, I got to switch on, you know, I got to mentally kind of, well, like what's it called, like send my brain into overdrive, where then on our days off I'm waking up and I'm going, well, I've got all these things that we got to do or we got to work out, but it's like I don't feel grounded. I feel confused because I'm not getting that excessive kickstart adrenaline rush because I got to go into work, and then it kind of leads me to feeling a bit down or a bit muggish, I guess.
Yeah,
and
but
then
what's so funny to me is like, in my opinion, that's because we're like addicted to stress. Is we're relying on like stress it's the only thing that's going to get us up so fast to get to work, because we know we have to be at work like by this time. And I think like for you at least, your body's like not used to not being stressed and being able to calmly navigate your morning.
And that's why then doing something like what Victoria's saying and grounding yourself, and even trying to, even if it means, you know, 3 of the 2 days that we're at work, that we get up that 30 minutes early and find something that we can do that can really be so beneficial, that then hopefully on our days off we don't feel that. So I feel like
that was a bit different because I couldn't do that on my own. Like I was also like the person that was moved by stress. Like I said, like I'm constant, and you drag out through the day. So for me, if I only decided like, oh, I'm gonna wake up a little bit earlier and just like calm myself down. Like if I only did that without a structure to like, oh, what am I gonna precisely do? Like I'm gonna read, I'm gonna journal. If I didn't have that structure, like I would not be doing it. I would probably just either bring myself back to sleep or develop some type of anxiety from beforehand, because I'm so used to being anxious that I'll give myself extra minutes of a panic attack or something.
It's so amazing that you're able to do that by yourself. I think in the social media space, it's normalized, but I think in reality, it's a really hard thing to do. It's a really big thing to do, and you should be super feel really accomplished that you can do that, because I think so many people still struggle with that. It's not easy. When all your body wants to do is stay as warm and asleep, it's hard. And sometimes it's the hardest part of the day, is getting up. So I think it's really good when you're able to do that for yourself.
You're setting a standard, and you're inspiring us and hopefully inspiring the people that are listening.
I hope so. Like honestly, it's hard on the first few months. I feel like after a while, you get so used to it that it feels almost as natural as when you wake up anxious, or like you said, on stress mode. It's like almost as automatic. You just do it. Like there were some points last year, especially, that my cat would be waking me up because she got so used to the routine that like it would be like 3:45. She'll be ready, like going on my face and be like, okay, I know it's about time. So we didn't have to worry about like an alarm. She would just come for me, and she will know that that's our time because she got her snacks at 4. First thing that I do is just put her thing.
She's like, come on, girl, it's our morning routine time.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's so cute. I want to kind of go back to your creativity outlets. What if you had to kind of give up all your like hobbies but keep one of them? Which one do you think that would be?
Definitely writing.
Yeah.
The writing portion of my life, it's a big deal for me, so I'll definitely be keeping that.
Well, that's I'm sorry, tongue twisting my words. That's very funny, because then the next question is, if you could live in a fictional world, what would it be and why?
Harry Potter. I have no doubt about it. Harry Potter for sure is the first book I ever read. Actually, I taught myself how to read with the help of my grandfather because I wanted to read Harry Potter.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What house would you be in?
The Gryffindor. I'm a Gryffindor
Gryffindor?
since always. Yeah, I wanted to be a Slytherin growing up, but it's just it's just not in me.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I am a little loud and a little obnoxious. So I like it.
I feel like that's such a thing. It's like Slytherin's kind of like the, the edgy kind of like house where it's like, oh, I want to be in Slytherin, and then you're like, oh, that's just not who I am.
Yeah, like I wish I was like dark and mysterious, like a Scorpio.
Yeah, like Draco Malfoy.
Like I'm a Leo. Like I'm not.
It's so funny. I always think it's funny when you like talk to someone about like the Harry Potter. You never hear anybody say like Hufflepuff or
Ravenclaw.
Yeah, it's just so funny. They always get like disregarded.
They're just irrelevant.
Yeah.
You're either like Gryffindor
Or Slytherin.
Do you guys like Harry Potter? Do you have a
I
house?
love Harry Potter.
Okay,
I love Harry Potter. I just love it. I haven't finished like the books, so that makes me sound like such a fake fan, but I love the movies.
Yeah, no, I spent a long time growing up with my nan, and she's like the biggest Harry Potter fan. She's got like all the Lego, she's got all the wands, all the books, the limited edition like hardcovers. Probably watch it like all the time. And she'd always like when I was young, she used to like read the books to me while I was going to sleep. So yes, Harry Potter's funnily enough played a big role in my life too.
It's just like such a massive thing. Like she really knew what she was doing when she created the whole Harry Potter world. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's like a part of society.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's kind of like you're either Harry Potter or you're not Harry Potter. Like there's no like in between.
We're going back to Japan in like 3 weeks.
Oh.
And we went last year. And we were really, really sick because this is gonna be a short story, I promise. When we went from summer to winter, and their winter, it was just so brutal to what we're used to in Australia, and we got sick because of like the temperature change. And we were so excited to go to the Harry Potter world there, and we booked it, and then we fell asleep because we were like sick. We were like, oh, we'll have a little nap.
No, that's not what happened. That we got there, and I had booked it, and
But you didn't. You had the wrong day. So but on the day we were meant to go, we fell asleep, and then we woke up and realized that you had booked today, not the next day, and we missed it.
Because I got sick, and I was sicker longer. She got better, and then I had booked it for the Sunday, thinking that we were leaving on the Monday, but we were leaving on the Sunday to go to Kyoto, and yeah, so we went out, and then I was like, "Nah, look, I can't go out today." So we went back home, and that's when we went to sleep, and then we woke up, and I was like, "Oh, what this is? What do you want to do?" And I like was checking, when are we going? And I was like, "Oh, so we got to go to Kyoto tomorrow. Like, is there anything else that you want to try and see today? I'll try and push myself." And then all of a sudden, I've like looked, and I've gone, "Oh my gosh." We were meant to go to Harry Potter, and it had like it passed the ticket time and that.
Yeah.
So we're excited to go back there because it's like one of Tokyo's like biggest like attractions. It's like the full like you go see the paintings and the
moving stairs.
Yeah, the moving stairs, and then you go into the hall, the kitchen, not the kitchen hall where everyone eats and that. So it's like apparently like massive replicas of different places within the Hogwarts. So we're really excited to see that.
We're gonna have fun.
Honestly, I get it because like there's a reason why England was my favorite place to live in, and it wasn't just a view, but like I stayed at St. Patrick's at Oxford, and a lot of the buildings around there were where they recorded the Harry Potter movies because they recorded a lot of it at Oxford. And we would sometimes have our dinners in one of the places that they recorded some of the scenes of the Great Hall. So like it didn't look exactly the same because it was usually some takes that they would do like in specific angles, but it was really exciting. It was really exciting. I went to the library as well where they recorded like the actual library, and people were like studying there, and I was like, I kept imagining like imagine being like a college student and you go to like I'm gonna go to the library now, and it's like the Harry Potter library.
So cool.
Exciting. Yeah.
I think it's always fun with stuff like that. That's like something I want us to go to New Zealand too, because we like Lord of the Rings, and like going to, because obviously they filmed a lot of like Hobbiton and stuff and all the other shots in New Zealand, and a few people that I know have visited there, and they said it's like amazing. It's like it's so cool to kind of something like that's like such a fantasy world, and then going to a location that I shot the movie. I guess it really feels surreal because it's not often you can watch a movie, you see something or read a book, and you go, I wish I could go there in real life, but then you have something like that and you can.
Basically, if like anywhere makes you feel like you're like in a book, it's a win. Like that's what you want.
No, I agree. Yeah.
What kind of, I guess, keep that like fantasy theme going? If you could have any animal as your pet, but it would be the size of a cat, what would you pick?
Any animal. Let me think. I think like probably like jaguar.
A jaguar,
Like
yeah.
have it be like, but like build like a jaguar, but like tiny with its teeth and stuff. It can bite real hard.
That'd be so
I think it
cute.
would be amazing.
That'd be cute.
And they are fast. They're really fast. So imagine like the little thing running around.
imagine like taking it to the park and then like going, okay, now it's time to take like the leash off, and you see it just like sprinting, but it's like this tiny
exactly like it's just this little thing. It's like
looks so funny.
Yeah, tiny jaguar.
I love that question. It's so funny to like really sit and think about like really big animals, but like the size of like, that's like, I choose a walrus, and it's just so funny to think about like a walrus the size of a cat. Like he just looks so cute with like the big tusk.
Yeah, that would be really
I'd also have like a giraffe.
Yeah, that would be so cute.
Like the long, but like the mini long. Would it be like
adorable?
Would it be as large as a cat with a long neck, or like tiny and just the long neck?
But it'd be like those like stuffed giraffe things. Imagine that, but like an animal version.
If you had like a pet miniature giraffe, you just like, if you're like sitting in your bed, you just see the head walking around all the time.
That'd be so good. I love that. All right, to kind of like wrap it up, we'll head into like, I guess, the wisdom part. Even though you've dropped lots of good wisdom throughout so far, but what is a piece of advice you always kind of come back to that has helped you in like throughout your life and all the different aspects that you want to share, I guess, to anybody listening?
I think my favorite piece of advice, it's kind of sums up to the idea that like what you're not changing, you're choosing. I think this is one of the big ones for me. And I take it as more of like action than anything else. Like taking action at all times. My dad always talks to me about this vision that like you can be the most talented person in the world. You can be exceptionally gifted. You can be absolutely smart, and it doesn't matter. Like who cares? It doesn't mean anything. You can be amazing and exceptional, but it doesn't matter if you don't do anything with it. It's just going to waste. Like if you're not, and I don't even say like financially, like, oh, you don't build a career, but like in the sense of like if you're not living the life that you want to live, and you're not doing the things that you want to be doing, then what is the point of being the smartest person in the room? It's like, it's that concept. What is the point of being the smartest person in the room if you're never going to share the things that you know?
Yeah.
There's no point. That's just, you know. So that's something that I always go back to like being like, okay, doesn't matter what everybody's going to think. Doesn't matter. Like I'm going to do things for the life that I want. And I'm going to go after the things that I want because I deserve them. And there is no point on living life if I'm going to leave it hiding, you know, just going to do the things.
I think that's so powerful because it's so true. Like so many people are so afraid to kind of like live the life or use the skills that they have to, whether that's help someone or even invent something, because they're so afraid that like it's not going to turn out well or people are going to judge them. And then, you know, you're missing these opportunities, I guess, to really just be who you are and do what you want to do and do the gift that you have. It's so true. It's like, if you are smart, you know, you use that, see what you can do with that. If you are creative, create art, see what can come alive with that. It's such a powerful, I think, message to really kind of think about.
Yeah. And I think it's like, it's easy to forget for some people too, that time's always passing and no one's going to save you. There's no point waiting. And like the best, most powerful thing we can do as humans is exercise our free will and do things and just to see what happens.
Yeah.
And obviously it's like that thing too, is if you know, you're a person who's anxious or you're not, action is like the one thing that's going to help anxiety too, is taking action.
Yeah. It's even like having time. It's like that play on time. We always are kind of chasing for more time, but because we're chasing for more time, we then have less time. And then it's like, you know, we only actually have so much time. So then, yeah, chase the things that you want to do and be the person that you want to be.
And another thing, I think it's like, I think people don't realize sometimes, like obviously there's not like a 100% success rate at all, but the best thing you can do is try to and to ask for things that you want, to take action, to go. I think a lot of people, and I've been like this for like most of my life, I didn't realize that I can literally just go, okay, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to talk to people that will help me. I'm going to take risks that will help me. Because why not? Like, I'm like, some people do it. Why can't I? And you just have to then live out those steps, even if they're difficult, to reach those goals. Because that's what other people had to do. And I think it's so easy to just go, oh, I'll never be able to do that. That's too hard. But yeah, you just have to try. And you can ask for things. I think lots of people are afraid to ask for help, but I think that's really good advice, is to ask for help, ask for directions, ask for advice, and not just also solely rely on, you know, your own intuition to get you from A to B. I think for me too, I've kind of always grown up being like, you know, don't bother people, don't ask. But I think that's like the whole thing of networking too. Is we can all help each other as well get to our goals.
And surrender yourself with people, like surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to be doing, who know more than you do, who are more successful than you are. Learn from them. And like there's so many people who are so willing to just answer questions when asked. They're like, there's a lot of people who will be thrilled to help you. They're like, they are an expert in their field. If you call them, like, can I call you sometime to like ask you some stuff? I'm trying to get into that area. Some people are going to be, there's a lot of people actually, they're going to be thrilled just to hear that message and to get to call and to get to help you, you know, because they probably wish someone would give them the help that they can give you. So like someone who is good on the field, they're going to be more than willing to be there with you, to cheer you up, to tell you what they know. Most people, they are going to open the door for you if you just knock, you know?
Yeah, it's so true. It's funny. It reminds me of a podcast I listened to, and she was saying, she's like a big businesswoman, and she was saying how she's finally enough had a lot of mentors without even having mentors, because she just like took the opportunity to ask people questions. And in doing so, she like was saying how she found out later on that she was making these people that she just wanted to help, that were interested in, you know, answering these questions, that they end up getting invested in you because of you asking them questions, and then they then want to, you know, help you even more because you've kind of created that network of not being afraid and wanting to know and learning and asking and not being afraid. And then that person who maybe you thought was all the way up here and you couldn't reach actually now cares about your success or cares about what you're doing. And I think that's such a great takeaway as well, to kind of don't be afraid. And, you know, people want to help more than you realize. It's like we got to remove that fake gap or level that we kind of create that separates people. You know, at the end of the day, we're all kind of the same.
Yeah, and we all started somewhere. So like, don't be afraid. I feel like that's a big one for everybody. Don't be afraid to start, to ask things.
Definitely. Now, the final question to end the podcast on, I guess, a little fun note. What is something that, I guess, brings you joy in your life, no matter what? And it can be small, it can be something big, but no matter what, as soon as you experience it, do it, whatever it may be, it brings you the most joy.
We have a rule in my friend group, and we all are adults. We all have very busy lives, but we follow the 8-minute rule. I don't know if you've heard of that in friendships, but the 8-minute rule is scientifically proven that whenever you're anxious or sad or you're going through something, all you need is 8 minutes on the phone with someone talking about it to make it, the anxiety and the feelings that you're feeling, go away. Like not completely, but like to calm your nervous system down enough for you to be able to process that. So all you need is 8 minutes on the phone. So like something that calms me now is being able to like go to my friends like, hey, you have 8 minutes? And then like call them up. We talk about something random. We can talk sometimes about the problem, or sometimes my friends call. They're like, hey, do you have 8 minutes? And, you know, everybody has 8 minutes. You know, sometimes you can stop your work for 8 minutes, just pick up the phone real fast, for doing a work break, whatever. Everybody has like 8 minutes here and there. So just having those moments in which like, oh, I'm stressed, or, oh, there's a lot going on, or something just happened, call up a friend 8 minutes on the phone, discuss the situation a little bit, your nervous system comes down enough just for you to be able to process the emotion, feeling better. So
I love that. I've never heard of that. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It really does. And it's so simple and actually really cool. That like, my question is, I just make sure I understood correctly. Like, is it advised that you within those 8 minutes you talk about something else, or is it okay depending on the situation to talk about maybe whatever is stressing you out of that? Like, I guess it's important to have someone, whoever you may contact for those 8 minutes. Is it that's important for them to, whether it be someone who can understand what you're going through, or can just listen, or can talk about something else? Like, is there more like pretext, I guess, that makes it more easier, or it doesn't really matter? It's just
honestly, for me, it depends a lot on the situation. Like for me, sometimes I really need to talk about that one thing. For example, when I was with my boyfriend, we broke up a while ago, and sometimes we would have like a specific argument, and like I'll be like heated, and like I want to talk about something that he did or something that he said. For me, it only worked if I talked about that one thing. But for example, if I'm overall stressed and like there's a lot of stuff going on, and let's say, in those days when nothing works out, like you wake up and then you hit your foot and then you spill your coffee and then everything, like, and you're just overwhelmed. When it's like that, for me, like I can talk about whatever and I feel better. But if it's something punctual, like that just happened and I want to talk about it, I prefer to discuss it, because then you just go back to the thing afterwards.
Yeah.
If you don't talk about it. So for me, if like it's something very specific, I like to discuss it or call someone who I know will get it and will have good insights for me. But if it's just like a stressful day, like just talk about whatever, just have a moment to like literally talk about, ask them the last movie that they watch and tell them to tell you the plot.
That's good. I guess it's like that psychology thing of it takes you out of the environment that you're in. Because I guess that's what's so powerful about having like a phone, or being able to connect with people online. It's like that way to just escape that momentary overwhelmness that you're experiencing, and then kind of feel like you're being teleported somewhere else. I really like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really cool.
I've experienced that. It's like I didn't have a name for it, but like I've always done that, and it's so funny. It's like you can sit there for hours and think about your problem. You can try journaling, but then the second you talk to someone who cares about you, even whether it's about the thing or it's not, it's like, you suddenly see it, like you almost suddenly see it clearer. And I guess it's the person's influence is helping you kind of guide you through it. But it's really good. Like I've had instances where like it's something that I can't figure out. It's really upsetting me. I'm really confused. And then I talk to someone and it's like, I answer my own problems. I literally answer it myself, but like with the help of somebody else, and they don't even realize how much they're helping you. So that's so smart. That's how you know your friend group really cares about you. Like I want to know how many other friend groups do that. That's so nice though. That's really, really nice.
I wonder if it's like I guess it would be like whatever you call it, like a detached theory, because you're detaching even though you're experiencing it, you're detaching yourself from the situation, even though you're talking to someone else, but the person is not actually a part of it. So then you feel like they're getting a non-biased opinion, or that they're not having a biased opinion about the situation. Where did you learn about that?
A TikTok video.
Yeah.
A TikTok video a while ago. I saw it and I was like, dude, that's genius. And I told my friends and they were like, yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
That's like the one funny thing about TikTok. Like we don't have TikTok ourselves. It can be a bit of a rabbit hole, but like I guess it's been really funny. It's brought this new age or nuanced aspect of like learning random things. So I think that there are some positives that come from it, something like that. That's really funny.
People find things that they wouldn't find through anything else through TikTok that end up like impacting their life like forever.
Well, it's interesting. It's like that. Sorry, you go.
No, you go. Keep going. No,
we're listening to a podcast, and it was like Trixie was saying. She was saying how they were talking about when America thought TikTok was going to close, and they were talking about how she would use TikTok to kind of like, she needed a problem. It's like, oh, how do I clean this? How do I cook this? Or what do I do? It's funny. I think it's really cool about social media and content creation that you kind of have this platform that sometimes, because for some reason I feel like it has more of a power compared to like Googling and going, how do I fix this? And you're kind of reading it, watching someone talk and communicating to you, or visually showing you how to, whether it's cook something, clean something, how to solve an issue. It's like really reassuring. And I think that's really cool that like, that's what content creation is kind of, I guess, a positive that's come from it. Is having the accessibility to kind of feel like you're interacting with someone who can help you solve an issue, and it's just like a search away.
I think it's the relatability. It's like you have this problem or something, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's thousands of people who have the exact same problem as you, and it's like, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm actually just normal.
Yeah, and having people that solve that problem for you and then help you out with it. Because like you have people that either went through that same questions. I love that trend that was like, in case your father didn't told you. I don't know if you guys thought on that, but I thought it was so wholesome, and like a bunch of dads teaching girls and like the boys things that they might, oh, you don't have a dad, but I can show you how to do it. I'm gonna teach you. Like that's so wholesome. Like I love it.
That's really nice.
I think that's like one, like obviously social media is very like pros and cons, good and bad, but I think that's one of like the best parts is taking a situation that may feel so isolating and hearing other people who have experienced the same thing, whether it's one moment or their whole lives. And even though it's like not an in-person thing, I'm sure that helps so many people just reading, oh wow, like this is someone else who's experienced the same thing. This is what they do to help. And it's like, I'm obsessed with like Reddit because like you can just read like everyone saying like their like personal experiences with the same thing, and it's all super helpful, and they all like link resources, and I just love it.
Reddit's fascinating. I don't know if you've like used Reddit. Reddit's like, I reckon, like the OG of like community building. Like for some reason, Reddit, like I don't know why, it seems to have like the most, I think because of how complicated like the system is, that it seems to not be so much like hate filled. Like I think it's really easy to like be on TikTok, Instagram, and find people like shitting on like whatever it may be or whatever. But Reddit has so many, because there's so many sublets of things that people just must ignore. It's like they're not interested in it, they don't look at it, so they don't pay attention. So it's like when you find a subreddit or a thing of like, oh, I'm experiencing this, what do you guys think? The only responses that you're getting are people that actually care or actually have gone through it. And it's really fascinating. I feel like, I wonder, because I'm actually not too sure like when Reddit started, but I wonder if that's what things like TikTok and Instagram, I find Reddit, it's somewhat like YouTube. It's like YouTube is like the video format of Reddit, because it's kind of like video format of, you know, you don't really see a lot of hate on YouTube. Like you do, but not on the same length of like Instagram and TikTok. It's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Because like, who's gonna spend? You're not gonna spend 20 minutes watching a video just to hate on it, unless you really hate it. Unless like there's something chronically wrong with that video. Like you gotta be a real loser to sit through 20 minutes just to leave a hateful comment. Like you're not. No, nobody's gonna do that. Hopefully.
That's really true. Like now I think about it, it's because of how short form content. You watch the whole thing in 10 seconds. It's like makes hate so much more accessible and easier to spread, because it's just like, that's why I like, obviously, like I know most people have TikTok and use TikTok. It was too much for my brain. It was literally too much. I'd go on it and it's like in 10 minutes I've watched like 100 videos, I've read like so many comments. It's like it was mentally exhausting me, so I had to get rid of it.
No, that's why I'm grateful that I work with social media, because before I used to stay on my phone all the time. Now, especially working like with brands as like managing their social media, honestly, by the end of my day, the last thing that I want to do is scroll on a goddamn app. Like I don't care about what is going on TikTok. Like don't send me a video. Like I'm sorry, my friends will send me DMs of like reels that they are seeing. Like I don't care. I love you guys, love you. But I am not watching another piece of content ever. I'm gonna read my book, I'm gonna watch a show, and I'm gonna keep my phone as far away from me as possible because there's no way I still have the mental capacity to scroll anymore. Like I did it all day. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm so grateful for finding like work in the online space, because it almost like neutralizes how you view social media, where social media to me, like in high school, used to be like, it almost felt like I couldn't help but be on social media. I felt like I had to be on social media, and I enjoyed like doom scrolling like every single night. And now I see social media so differently now. You see it as a work avenue. It's completely different. And I really like how that's changed my relationship to social media. And it's a lot more proactive and productive.
I think that's like the biggest hack, like what you said. And even we've found that, you know, we working with a cafe at the moment with like social media management. I think that's like the biggest hack. I think UGC, you still kind of spend a bit more time because obviously it's your account, whatever you may be doing, where like when you're helping manage other brands' social media, you're kind of just only focusing on and seeing and interacting with that brand and that brand's like whatever products, services, whatever it may be. So you're kind of less seeing your own personal feed or seeing random content. So then you kind of get that avenue where, like you're saying, it's easier to kind of remove other things. And then by the time it's the end of the day, you're so social media out that you don't even want to like go on your own feed or scroll through what people are saying. You just want to kind of have that alone time. And it's such a cool hack, I reckon, having it all kind of built up like that.
No, literally, I work with different brands. One of them is a Christian brand of like t-shirts. And I do like the research for like content ideas, see what's trending on my personal account. Like I do the research on my account, and then my algorithm, it's literally like Christian, like literally Christian music, Christian brands, like it's everything Christian. So like it's not something that I consume, like nothing against it. Like I said, I create content for it, but it's not something that I would normally consume on my feed. So like I don't even have the desire to scroll for the most part, because like if I open it, literally it's not even content that I enjoy seeing. So it's even better for that.
I have one last question. I'm not sure if you explained it or not, and I'm sorry if you did, I've forgotten. How did you get into social media management?
Social media management was when I started to go into my creation journey and stuff. And I started to get in touch with some people that I know from my hometown, mostly, who I knew had like, especially people either I met like when I was already an adult and they were friends of people that I knew who were in college and something like that, or people that I knew who were starting small businesses.
Yeah.
Something very new. I didn't go for people who have like big business that they have been working on for a while, but people who are something really small, little social media, starting to build a presence. And I was just like, do you need someone to like do your page for you? Like I'm starting out in this area, like $100 a month and I'm down, like give me $100 and I'm good. And I'll do it for the whole month for you. And they're like, okay, whatever, down. And then I started doing for them, and then started with a lot of like people recommending my work. I spent 1 year with one of those small businesses, ended up signing a contract after having a really good result on our first month. And I worked for her, and then from her I got another client. Then I got this other girl who got me this current client, for example, that is my biggest client at the moment, my biggest payment, everything, which is called Got Here. And it's like the t-shirt brand. So that's cool.
It's amazing. It's so funny how it's like, despite it being online, it is through word of mouth. It is through personal connections. And I feel like it always comes back down to that when you speak to someone about like their journey and their successes and their wins so often. And it's really nice because it's the impact. It's your actual personal impact that you left on these people and the friendships that you made and your connections. And that's what's reflecting your success is, it's how you made people feel rather than how many brands you pitched to, how many, emails you sent out. I think that's what's really, really funny.
Because like one person you work with could just happenly know 20 other people that could have a business. And then if you do such a good job with them, it's that word of mouth, and they could be 20 brands you've never even heard of. But that person's going, yeah, I'm working with a person, they're absolutely amazing. They've delivered such great results. You should check them out. And then boom, all of a sudden, maybe, you know, 10 of the 20, 15 of the 20.
Yeah. And that's another thing like about social media is I think I went into it too thinking that I had to have like 10,000 followers before it started reaping any success on my life, when that's like not true. It's literally not true. I don't 100% agree with the whole you can start UGC with 0 followers. I don't 100% agree with that, but to do with just whether it's financial freedom or financial success or whatever it is, yeah, you don't actually, you can be on social media, be using social media, but numbers doesn't necessarily reflect how successful you are.
Yeah, so important.
Yeah, no, agree 100%, especially when it comes to like other than influence and not even influencing. For example, with this brand I've worked with, we sign influencers that are like 1 million, literally like 1,700,000, 800 followers. And a lot of them have less sales, for example, for the business, like their videos, their content, like are, because it's a long-term contract. So usually we'll like renovate it over and over again. And overall, they are, some of them are the ones that we have less sales with, and we will have people who have like, it's an influencer of like 15,000 followers and they get more sales than the person with like 800,000 followers, because their community is so loyal, because their people, they're like, if they recommend a product, the people that follow them are going to be like, okay, I'm down, I'm like, I believe you, like if you're telling me that is good, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
So like the videos that they produce are better. Like they know how to make a video that sells, that converts. But like someone with 800 followers, they make videos that go viral, but it's not something that like they cannot make an ad for the life of them. They'll try to make a video about a product and like it looks like they have like they're constipated or something.
Yeah.
So like
it's so funny. It's like you could literally have like you can have 3,000 followers, and if you're like using like affiliate links, you can have like, you know, you can have 500 of your 3,000 followers make a purchase through that. Yeah. It's like that whole percentage thing of, at the end of the day, having 1 million followers can mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's about the audience or the community that you build at the end of the day, and that's why it is so important, because it makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you. We've learned a lot of really fun things, and I'm so happy and excited for lots of people to like hear this, because I feel like there's been certain things that maybe people that already follow you, that listen, like may not have known, and I think you have such a great story. So I'm really excited for them.
Thank you. This was a pleasure. I love the talk.
We're glad. Thank you. Thank you. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll most definitely stay in touch.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. I loved it.
Our pleasure.
It was very meeting you.
Enjoy the whole day. You guys have the whole day. Enjoy your guys' whole day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.